Hello there guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another video. I hope you guys are doing well today. So today is Friday and you know what that means. It's time to predict this weekend's match day 10 predictions for the Premier League. Of course, um there's going to be huge games, including Arsenal versus Liverpool, Everton versus Manchester United, Brighton against Tottenham. Some huge games this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. And of course, the Chelsea versus Wolves game. Guess who's going to be back at Stamford Bridge? Diego Costa. So let's see how he plans what to do against Chelsea. When we face Olivier Giroud and Fikayo tomorrow, we kept them quiet. Let's see if we can keep our predator quiet. It's going to be difficult, but we shall wait and see. So some huge games to predict. I'm looking forward to it. So it's time to do the predictions. But before I do so, don't forget, if you guys are new, is the subscribe button below. Smash a like if you enjoyed this video and the other previous predictions that I've done so far this season. Make sure you hit the bell notification so that you never miss any of my content, and make sure you share this video to everybody so that they can give their predictions in the comments down below, and I'll quickly react to them and see whether I agree or disagree on your predictions. And by the end of this match day predictions, I'll be checking how many points you've got. If you got higher than me, well done. But if you got lower than me, don't worry. You can still try your best, and you will be better the next game that we'll predict together. So without further ado, let's start with this week's Premier League predictions. All right, so starting off with AFC Bournemouth against Leicester City. Now, of course, Bournemouth have drawn 3 games and only won one of them. And that only win was against Nottingham Forest. But they drew against Wolves, they drew against Brentford, and they drew against who was it? Brentford and Newcastle, yeah. So they'll be facing Leicester City, who've beaten the East Midlands rivals, Nottingham Forest. Now, this game is going to be a draw again. It's going to be a draw because Bournemouth, for me, have looked good, but when it comes to possession, they really don't dominate possession, and they keep on drawing so many times. Like Gary O'Neill is still unbeaten, but they're drawing like so many times, and you wonder yourself with the first win against Nottingham Forest, do you think that this will build? But they came to really poor results, and I feel like this is going to be another draw result. I think this is going to be a 0-0 between Leicester and AFC Bournemouth because, like I said, even though Leicester City beat Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth are unbeaten. Even though they've drawn 3 times, they're unbeaten. So I think it's going to be 0-0. I think both teams will keep a clean sheet, but I think Bournemouth, if I predict to win again, I'll get it wrong. So that's why for me, I'm going to predict a 0-0 draw. And also, there's no 12 p.m. kickoff games because of what's happening in the championship. So that's why you can see that game is only that's why the game starts at Saturday at 3 p.m., the normal football time. So that's why this game is the first game of the weekend. So for that game, I'm going to go for 0-0. I think this will be another draw for Bournemouth, but if they do finally win, that good. But if they draw again, then I don't know what's going to happen. But if Bournemouth wants to stay up, they need to keep on getting wins instead of draws every single time, because draw is not good enough. A win is good enough. So that's why for me, they need to win this. But for what I've seen, the performance so far, I'm going to go for a 0-0 on that one. So that's going to be my first prediction on that one. Right, moving on into Chelsea versus Wolves at Stamford Bridge. Now, like I said before, Diego Costa is returning back to Stamford Bridge, but it's going to be a Wolves player, not a Chelsea player. So I know, like for Fikayo tomorrow and Olivier Giroud were happy to be back. I know that Diego Costa will be back. So, and I know he wants to put in a really good performance. And if he does score, I know he will not celebrate. So that's basically it. But guess what? We kept Olivier Giroud quiet and Tomori quiet, and let's hope that we can keep Diego Costa quiet by defending on how we did against AC Milan, because the last time we faced them it was a 2-2 draw. We were 2-0 up, but then we bottled it. Let's hope that this time that we don't bottle it. So I'm confident going into this game because the way I see my team performing and beating AC Milan. So for this game, I'm going to go for 2-0 Chelsea. I think here I think that clean sheet against AC Milan was huge because I didn't expect Chelsea to get a clean sheet, but the way that we did for the first time since the opening day of the season was good, and also scoring more than 2 goals for the first time this season. Honestly, that made my day. That really made my day. So for this game, I'm gonna go for 2-0 Chelsea. I'll talk more about that later on in the next video, which is going to be my match preview going into this game. So yeah, 2-0 Chelsea is going to be my prediction. The goal scorers, I think it's going to be a Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang again, and I think Reece James as well because Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is starting to pick up form, and Reece James is the best right back in the world. He can do far better than Trent. He knows how to defend. He knows how to score. He knows how to put some winning crosses in. He knows what to do. Defending, he looks good. Going forward, he's a threat. So for me, the goal scorers is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Reece James. So that's why I'm going to go for 2-0 Chelsea. Right, moving on into Manchester City against Southampton. Manchester City are still unbeaten so far this season, scoring so many goals. And also, they facing this game knowing that they beat Manchester United 6-3. You know, their defense is a bit poor, but it doesn't matter how many goals you concede. As long as you put in a really good performance and beat the opposition, that's all that matters. So, yeah, so Southampton lost against Everton the last game. So I expect this to be a really, really tough game for Southampton because Erling Haaland is on fire. I mean, 19 goals in 12 games. Like, I think for me, yeah, I think Erling Haaland will score 2 goals in that game. I I mean, if he gets another hat trick, boy, that would be another Premier League record because he's the first player to get 3 hat tricks in 8 games in the Premier League. I told you this guy will become breaking records after records after records. I think this guy here will score maybe over 50 goals, and that will be a new record in football because nobody did it other than one player who's done it. And I don't know who the player was. I can't remember, but only one player did it. But I think Erling Haaland will break that record, and he will become one of the best footballers in this generation. So I think Man City have finally realized that they could have signed Erling Haaland from last season, but they didn't. But this season they found their number 9, and I know that Erling Haaland will be happy to be at City because he knows he can find someone like Kevin De Bruyne, Ruben Diaz, and all that stuff that will feed the ball to him and let him score. So yeah, so that's why for this game, I'm going to go for a 4-0 Manchester. Oh, sorry, not 40, sorry. 4-0 Manchester City win. I think Erling Haaland will score 2 goals. I think Kevin De Bruyne might score one, and Alvarez will also score one. So that's going to be the goal scorers for this game. Yeah, for Southampton, I don't see them winning, especially going to the Etihad. The way they destroyed Man United, it's good. They're going to destroy Southampton. I think they'll keep a clean sheet because Southampton have been doing really well this season. So that's why I'm going to go for a 4-0 Manchester City win. So Erling Haaland will score again, 2 goals. Kevin De Bruyne will score, and then Alvarez will score. Those are the goal scorers for that game. So 4-0 to Manchester City is going to be my prediction. All right, Newcastle United against Brentford. Of course, Brentford draw their game against Bournemouth in the last game, and Newcastle is got that huge win against Fulham because I didn't expect Newcastle to beat Fulham, especially at Craven Cottage. But the way that they did, and I'm the one who scored 2 goals and could have scored a hat trick. Boy, Newcastle were back, absolutely back. So for this game, I'm gonna I'm gonna go for. Oh, let me have a look. Brentford have been really good since their win against Leeds United. They haven't been that great. Loss against Arsenal, draw against Bournemouth. They haven't been that great. So that's why. Um, oh, this is tough. Newcastle won the last game. Brentford drawn. For this game, I'm going to go for a 2-0 Newcastle win. I think that win against Fulham gave them confidence because if they didn't beat Fulham, yeah, that game against Brentford is going to be really tough for them. And I would have predicted a draw, maybe like a 1-1. But the fact that they beat Fulham and beat four past them, when Fulham went down to 10 men, I thought that was impressive. And for Brentford, they need to improve because over the last couple of games, like I said, they haven't been that great. So that's why for me in this game, I'm going to go for a 2-0 Newcastle United win because going to St. James Park ain't that easy, even though the draw against Bournemouth and who was Crystal Palace. For me, still St James Park is still a tough place to go. So that's why for this game tomorrow, I'm gonna go for a Newcastle win of 2-0 against Brentford at St James's Park. Now let's move on into an interesting game. Brighton against Tottenham Hotspur. Now, of course, Brighton drew 3-3 against Liverpool. For Tottenham, they've lost 3-1 against Arsenal at the in the North London derby. Now, this game is going to be really interesting because the game against Liverpool after Graham Potter um, left Brighton and the caretaker manager for Italy came in, I would have thought that Liverpool got the win. But you know what, yeah? That game against Liverpool, they were absolutely superb. Of course, they bottled them when they were 2-0 up, but they decided to score to make it 3-3. So Brighton have been looking really good. But for Tottenham, their last game of the Champions League, they were better against, who was it? I tried Frankfurt, but they couldn't manage to score. So Antonio Conte hasn't been looking really good for Tottenham so far this season. And for me, they need to get this win. Otherwise, they're in serious trouble. Antonio Conte could go and go and get sacked by Daniel Levy. He doesn't want to be doing that. You know what I mean? So for this game on Saturday night, this is so tough. But I might gonna go for Oh, this is so tough. I might go for I might go for a 3-1 Brighton win because, like I said before, Brighton were really impressed against Liverpool, whereas for Arsenal, Tottenham, they've lost against Arsenal in the North London derby. You know the way that they did. So I'm going to go for a shock Brighton win against Tottenham Hotspur because, like I said, Antonio Conte may be playing good, but when it comes to the style of play and all that stuff, it still hasn't worked. It still hasn't worked. If he needs to either change the formation or bring in players here, the likes of George Spencer and Matt Doherty, because Emerson Royale got sent off against Arsenal, and he cannot play in the next 3 games in the Premier League. So he needs to change his tactics, or maybe stop playing the likes of Basuma, George Spence, and Matt Doherty. If he goes for the same players, then he knows that he ain't winning. But if he knows that he can change his tactics or maybe bring on someone else, then that's fine. But the way I see Tottenham play right now, I just don't think they'll win against Brighton. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 Brighton win on a Saturday night football. And that's why this game is going to be interesting. I'll be definitely watching it and see how it goes. But I think Brighton, for me, really impressed me against Liverpool when they drew 3-3. If they would have beaten them, that would have been really good. But a draw is a decent result because going to Anfield ain't that easy, especially with the atmosphere, the players, and the manager as well. But they drew 3-3. So for me, they're really impressive. So that's why for that game on Saturday night, I'm gonna go for a 3-1 Brighton win. All right, now moving on into Sunday's game, starting off with Crystal Palace against Leeds United. Now, which is at Selhurst Park, of course, a 2 p.m. kickoff. Now, in that game, Leeds United drew against Aston Villa, but they should have lost because Aston Villa had the better chances than them. For Crystal Palace, they'll be disappointed because they were 1-0 up and they've lost against Chelsea once again. The big question is, should Thiago Silva be sent off? My answer is yes. So he got lucky, but we managed to win. But Crystal Palace, even though we dominate possession, Crystal Palace were the better team because they defended well, they were causing us problems, and yeah, like I said, going to Selhurst Park ain't that easy, really ain't. So I know they want to get back to winning ways. So yeah, when they face a Leeds United team, yeah, who have really good results, but overall they were like 1-0, 1-1, all that stuff. So for this game against Leeds United, I'm gonna go for a let's have a look. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh, this one is difficult. Leeds United will score, but I think I'm gonna go for do. Oh, this is so tough. Crystal Palace will win, but I'm not sure how many goals they will score. This is so difficult. Hmm, I want to get this spot on. I really want to. Okay, I'm gonna go for 3-1 Crystal Palace win. I was thinking 2-1. I was thinking to myself, now you know what? Leeds United defense yeah, ain't that good. It used to like from the beginning of the season, but it ain't anymore. So that's why I think Crystal Palace will score three past them, and Leeds United will score, but I think Crystal Palace will get the win. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 Crystal Palace win against Leeds United on Sunday. Right, moving on into a London derby, West Ham United against Fulham. Of course, Fulham lost their last game against Newcastle at home, and for West Ham United, they've won against Wolves at home. So this is a really good London derby, and I think this game will be on Sky Sports since it's a London derby. So that game will feature on Sky Sports on Sunday. So this game, um, West Ham looked really good over the last couple of games. Yesterday they've only managed to win against that team I cannot pronounce, only just 1-0. But in that game, they should have scored more. They really should have scored more, West Ham United. So they'll be disappointed, but at least they've won. So for Fulham, away from home, they haven't their record ain't is not that great, to be honest with you. So for this game, I think West Ham will get the 2-1 win. I think their performance have been really good over the last couple of days, they even though they're at the position where they don't want to end this season, they're starting to really look good just a little bit. So in that game against Fulham in the London Derby, I'm going to go for 2-1. I think Fulham we need to find some way because they didn't expect Newcastle to score four past them, and that was their worst performance at home. So, yeah, plus Fulham don't really do well at London Derby. When they face Arsenal, they've lost 2-1. So, I think this game against West Ham United, I'm going to go for 2-1 victory for them. So, Fulham they need to find a way to get back on form. Otherwise, they're in serious, serious trouble. Even though they're doing well this season, like they said, they still need to getting back to 3 points after their disappointing defeat against Newcastle the last time. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 West Ham win. All right, moving on into the big game of the weekend. Arsenal against Liverpool. Of course, Liverpool have drawn their last game against Brighton, but in the Champions League, they managed to get that 2-0 win against Rangers, who were in the Europa League final last season. So, really good performance. So, the big question is that 4-2-3-1 for Liverpool would Jurgen Klopp do the exact same thing against Arsenal? Because if he goes for 4-3-3, Arsenal will win. But if he goes for a 4-2-3-1, I believe that Liverpool will get back to it. But this game is interesting because I'm going to go for a shock win of Arsenal win of 2-1 because Arsenal, like I said, so far they play really good. They are sensational. And I hate it. I hate it as a Chelsea fan, but I have to give praise to Arsenal because, like I said at the beginning of the season, Arsenal will do well. And I said that Arsenal will finish in the top four. I don't think they'll win the title. It's going to be Man City again. But I think Arsenal will definitely finish in the top four and definitely get back into the Champions League for the first time since 2017 after losing 5-1 against Bayern Munich at the Emirates. So yeah, I think this is the last time that Arsenal are playing in the Europa League. The last time. If they don't achieve top four, then serious question needs to be asked. But if they do achieve top four, that means Mikel Arteta has done the job, because you know the fans' expectation is to get top four and win a trophy. And then maybe next season or in a few years' time, maybe challenge for the title. So that's what the Arsenal fans expect. And if Mikel Arteta can do that, then well done. Then give him praise. So yeah, I know that you guys are thinking, yeah, but Jurgen Klopp changed the formation. I know that, but I did say this season that Liverpool struggle. You know, even though they've won against Rangers, that Brighton game, they absolutely bottled it. Absolutely bottled it. They were 2-0 down, but then they were this close to winning the game 3-2, but they allowed themselves to let Trossard score a hat trick. So for me, that game, Liverpool were finished. But the only thing I can say is that if Jurgen Klopp goes for 4-2-3-1 like he did against Rangers, then fine, then that's absolutely fine. Then Liverpool will win. But if he goes for 4-3-3 and stick us and puts the players in that position and it didn't work, then Arsenal will win. But I'm going to go for an Arsenal win of 2-1. Just the fact that Arsenal are doing well this season. They're playing really well. They're a really good team to watch. Unfortunately, as a Chelsea fan, but I have to admit it. So that's why I'm going to go for a shock Arsenal win of 2-1 against Liverpool at the Emirates. And of course, the last time Arsenal beat Liverpool was during lockdown in July 2020 when they beat them 2-1. So I think this time it's going to be, and it's the same manager, Mikel Arteta, that made it happen. So that's why for this game, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Arsenal win against Liverpool on Sunday. Big game. I'll be definitely watching that one. All right, then moving on into Everton against Man United. Of course, this was supposed to be a 12:30 p.m. kickoff, but because of what happened, you know, but because of what happened, happening in the Championship, they decided to move it to a 7 p.m. UK time kickoff between that team. So that's why they had to change it. But another great game to watch, Everton against Man United. Of course, Man United was so lucky to get a win against that Cyprus team yesterday, because they were 1-0 down at half time, but Everton can't make the substitutions and it worked. He had so many chances. It could have been like maybe 6-0, 7-0 to Man United. But like I said before, you don't take your chances, they will punish you. And that Cyprus team nearly punished them when it was 3-2, because they had a chance here to have a shock result against Man United, which could have been like a 3-3. But Man United got the win, fortunately, but the performance still hasn't been that great. Still hasn't been that great. But for Everton, the Merseyside derby against Liverpool, they were good. They beat who was it? Uh, West Ham United, and they've won against Southampton. So Everton are starting to look really good. And I did say the last time, if Everton can keep this kind of performance and get good results, I believe Lampard will stay in the job and Everton won't get relegated this season. If because I don't want Everton to go down. I really don't. It's because of the Chelsea legend Lampard. I don't want him to suffer the way he suffered against Chelsea, and for Chelsea and for Derby. I don't want him to suffer. So let's hope we can keep this up, and Everton will definitely stay in the Premier League for next season. So yeah. So going into this game, I'm going to go for a shock Everton win against Man United. I'm going to go for 1-0, because when Liverpool went to Goodison Park, we all thought that Liverpool were going to get the win. But Everton played a really good performance against Liverpool, and it actually ended it 0-0, where in fact that Everton should have won that game. They should have won that game, but it was really impressive. Like I said, they went to West Ham, London Stadium, difficult place to go because the atmosphere Goodison Park beat them 1-0, and then they went to Southampton away from home and they beat them 2-1. So Everton's lots four results have been really, really good. So if they can keep this up, they will definitely stay up. But for Man United, listen, even though the Eric Ten Hag is still the right manager, for me, his last couple of results hasn't been that great. Like against Manchester City, we all thought that this would be a tight game, but Man City made it easy for Man United because they got exposed, absolutely exposed. So going to Goodison Park ain't that easy, and let's not forget that last season Everton beat them 1-0. So that's why for this game tomorrow, on Sunday, I'm gonna go for a short Everton win against Man United, and they do need the win. Otherwise, they could be back to like close to the relegation zone, and they don't want to do that. So I'm going to go for a big and a shock Everton result against Man United, which is 1-0. And then moving on into the Monday night football, Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa. Nottingham Forest once again move into a Monday night because of the East Midlands derby. Of course, Nottingham Forest lost 4-0 against Leicester, which I didn't think that would happen. And Aston Villa drew 0-0 against Leeds, which they should have beaten them because the amount of chances that they had. So this game, Nottingham Forest. I didn't expect them to be this bad. I really didn't. I would have thought that they were the team who could be like Brentford and, be the team that everyone is afraid of. But it looks like they're like the team here that everyone is excited to play because over the last couple of results, they haven't been that great. Only one win so far, just like Leicester, and they're in the relegation zone. Like, Steve Cooper needs to get some really good results, otherwise he's in serious trouble and he could get sacked after letting Nottingham Forest win the EFL playoff last season and getting back to Nottingham Forest in the Premier League for the first time since 1999. So he needs to get some really good results, otherwise they will sack him. And he doesn't want to do that. And if that happens here, that would be I think, let's see, one, two, let's see, Scott Parker, Thomas Tuchel, Bruno. Yeah, that would be the fourth time this season in the Premier League that managers has been sacked. Four, jeez, and it's not even halfway through the season. So Steve Cooper needs to really get good results, otherwise they'll be done for. So unfortunately, I'm gonna go for a. Let's have a look. I'm gonna go for a 2-0 Aston Villa win. I think that result against Leeds United could have gone 3 points rather than one, which is disappointing. But I know they'll be really good to play against Nottingham Forest because um, I think this might be also the East Midlands derby because Aston Villa is based in Birmingham and Nottingham Forest is based in Nottingham. So this is like another derby. So that's why they have to move. So that's why they had that game on the Monday night because of the derby. So if you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't think Nottingham Forest will win again. So that's how I'm going to go for 2-0 Aston Villa. I'm sorry to say this not some Forest fans, but I thought that you guys would do well this season. But the fact that you've lost a couple of games, only had one win, I'm going to have to go for an Aston Villa win. I'm sorry. So that's going to be my prediction for that derby on Monday night. All right, guys. So that is all my predictions. Let me go through them one more time. So Bournemouth against Leicester City, I've gone for a 0-0 between that game. For Chelsea versus Wolves, I've gone for 2-0 Chelsea win. I've gone for the next game, Man City against Southampton. I've gone for 4-0 to City. For Newcastle against Brentford, I've gone for Newcastle United win of 2-0. For Brighton against Tottenham, I've gone for Brighton win of 3-1, and those are tomorrow's games. For Crystal Palace against Leeds, I've gone for a Crystal Palace win of 3-1. For West Ham United against Fulham, I've gone for a 2-1 West Ham United win in the London Derby. For Arsenal against Liverpool, I've gone for a 2-1 Arsenal win at the Emirates. And for Everton against Man United, I've gone for a shock Everton win of 1-0 against Man United. And that's all the Sunday games. And for the Monday night football, the last game of match day 10, I've gone for a 2-0 Aston Villa win against Nottingham Forest in the derby. So that is it, guys. That is all my predictions. Let me know in the comments down below whether you agree or disagree. And what's your predictions? Also, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see if I agree or disagree. And I'll give you reasons why I agree with your prediction and disagree as well. So make sure you guys let me know what's your predictions in the comments down below. So that's it, guys. That is the end of this first video of today. Make sure you tune in to the next video. I'm going to be doing my match preview for the Chelsea versus Wolves game that will be kicking off tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. at Stamford Bridge. So make sure you guys look out for that one and make sure you don't miss any of that. And if you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button first, then hit the bell notification so that you never miss any of my content. Make sure you smash the like if you enjoyed this video, and make sure you click the share button so that everyone can come along, watch the videos that I've uploaded, and and you guys can react to it in the comments down below. So make sure you guys do those 4 things that I mentioned just now, and also the beginning as well. So take care, guys, and as always, up the Chelsea and peace.